When it comes to what's happening in Wayne County and the North Carolina area, look no further than Taylor House Publishing. If you have a story that needs to be told, please contact us via email at taylorhousepublishing@gmail.com.
So the man that you see on the screen is Mr. Khalil Branch of Kinston, North Carolina. And Mr. Khalil Branch is giving his experience of an encounter with the Kinston Police Department on May the 11th, 2024. Now, Mr. Branch and his associates reached out to me because of the incident. If you have not seen the incident, there is a viral video going around, and I'm actually going to play that video of his encounter with the Kinston police. But nevertheless, they reached out to me, and today we had a community forum entitled Enough is Enough, where Mr. Branch gathered members of the community, family, friends, and loved ones, and concerned citizens to share his experience, but also get other people's experiences about police misconduct in the area. Now, Kinston is only about 20 minutes from Goldsboro, and this instance is something that happens all too common here in America. We all know what happened within the past few years, or even the past decades, going all the way back to Mike Brown and all of the other incidences of police brutality. Fortunately, Mr. Branch is still here to tell his story, but this is something that I'm going to try to remain emotionless about because, of course, I've experienced some of the same treatment. My latest book, Blue Lights in My Rear View, details some of my own experiences, but also experiences of many people throughout history that have endured this sort of treatment. Now, backstory to this incident, Mr. Branch was out in the Jack Roundtree public housing area of Kinston when these officers, and I'm going to give you some articles that details how this came about, but these officers came up to residents, people who live in the area, and they claimed to be looking for trespassing suspects. And at this point, Mr. Khalil exercised his constitutional right against unlawful searches and seizures. And when they asked him for his ID, he began to question them. Why? What's going on? What do you need my ID for? Did I do something wrong? And they took his assertion of his rights as what most police officers deem disrespect or uncooperation, and they immediately grabbed him and threw him on the ground. And as the video shows, there is some very questionable actions by the officers, and this sparked outrage, and they actually did protests in front of the police station. Mr. Branch also intends to take some other measures, and I want to share this video because I'm in full support of him, and I want this his experience to be well known and gain exposure, so not only the police can be reprimanded, but hopefully these guys who take their jobs and abuse their authority and their power will feel less inclined to do so in this manner. But I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to try to let it play straight through but I probably have to stop it to emphasize some of the actions of the officers. So just watch this here with me and feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. So right there, you see the officer striking Mr. Branch as he's laying on the ground, and then you see the officer tase him. And as you hear Mr. Branch exclaim, "Why did you tase me? You know I'm not doing anything. Why did you tase me?" And the assault continues. And there you see the officer once again striking Mr. Branch in his ribs after threatening or before threatening to hit him in the face. And there you see Mr. Khalil continuously asking the officers, "Why am I being detained? Why am I being detained?" Which is his right to ask and to passively resist unlawful detainment or unlawful arrest. And then you see the sergeant coming up and he's explaining to her what happened. And she actually goes down and puts her hand on him as well, like he's a threat. And there is another frightening and despicable act. You see the officer pointing the taser at the people around, and you can actually see in his eyes an almost devilish look as he threatened concerned onlookers because of the police's beating this man. And actually, you may have missed it in the video, but one of the officers actually bit Mr. Branch, which is a savage act, a beastly act. When you bite someone, that just exudes hatred and malice and maliciousness. And so that just shows the outright animalistic behavior of these officers when they know that they can get away with this type of behavior. And look at that officer right there. He cannot wait to use his taser again. The man is already in handcuffs. He's in the car. Yet and still, look at this aggressive. Uh, I hate to even call him a police because they give police a bad name. But look at this aggressive man as he again tased the man with his hands behind his back and already placed in the vehicle. He actually tased him twice, if you guys saw that. And just look at their posture. You know, he shines the light back at the people and just walks away like they are just military Gestapo soldiers coming in to um, just terrorize the general public. And so that video right there once again shows the savagery. And there's a couple of more videos that actually shows different angles. And I might even play those at the end. But I'm going to play the video at the end in its entirety without stopping it. And so when they got Mr. Branch down to the station, he informs me that they put him in a holding cell and other officers began to mock him. You know, of course, he was probably irate, still angry about being falsely arrested and detained. And they took him in and he alerts that they found an old open container charge from 2022 that he didn't go to court for. Now, open container charge is like the lowest misdemeanor probably in the court system. And so they charged him with that and gave him a written promise. And so, of course, he got out on his own recognizance. And about a week later, maybe Thursday or Friday, he tells me that the police department came to his mother's house and they used an individual, Officer Storm, who he went to school with, to coerce her to say, you know, we need to talk to Mr. Branch about the incident that happened the other day. And I take it that she thought that they were trying to, you know, offer some apologies or, you know, see if he was all right. However, when Mr. Branch did agree to come to the location that they agreed upon, they arrested Mr. Branch. And what did they arrest him for? They arrested him for resisting arrest and trespassing. Now, mind you, Mr. Branch was visiting a cousin, had just walked outside of the house to congratulate a young man that he serves as somewhat of a mentor to for qualifying in a regional track meet. And he was not trespassing, and actually his identification has a Jack Roundtree address presently. So he could not have been trespassing, and so then also they charge him with resisting arrest. Now I've also been charged with resisting arrest, but that would be the only charge. Like they would lock me up and say, I say, what's the charge? Resisting arrest. What are you arresting me for? You can't have resisting arrest to an unlawful arrest or to a non-existent charge. This is what they do. So they charged Mr. Branch with those two charges. Of course, they are trying to cover themselves, cover their actions. They have to place a charge on him to justify the treatment that many people have already seen and many people will see. And talking to Mr. Branch today, as you see that we had a nice forum. He mentioned that there were two of the children with whom he coached football outside watching what transpired. And fortunately for Mr. Branch, he maintained his cool. As I mentioned to him that, those officers were more and more frustrated because once again, he asserted his right to not be falsely arrested, and they couldn't get his hands behind his back. And that's when you see the animal tactics come out, biting and striking the man who was literally just standing outside. And that is a point that I want to make in this video where, and I'll show you the article, they said that these police officers were investigating possible trespassing. Now, the article reads, on May 10th, 2024, at approximately 11 p.m., members of the Kinston Police Department were patrolling the area of Jack Roundtree housing complex when officers encountered a group of individuals loitering. Now they're loitering. And they said they had to use force because Mr. Branch would not produce his ID. Now, here's another article which is contradictory. Now, this one says, police said that around 11 p.m., officers were patrolling in the area of Jack Roundtree housing complex when officers saw a group of people loitering. We're told the officers tried talking to people while trying to investigate a possible trespassing issue per Kinston Housing Authority policy. Now, once again, you have people who live there, and actually one lady said in the video, we live out here. So these officers go into neighborhoods basically looking for trouble. You don't see those officers going out into more prominent neighborhoods looking for people who are trespassing or doing anything. It is only in these areas that officers see a group of people outside. They're not loitering, they're outside talking. He was outside to see one of the young men in the neighborhood. It's almost like being black in a certain neighborhood is a crime. Loitering or trespassing. Anytime there's a group of black people around, there must be crime happening. And if there's not any crime, we're going to, as they did in this case, we're going to manufacture a crime. Hey, give me your ID. Oh, you don't want to give me your ID? Oh, now you're resisting. You're resisting an unlawful command. Why is it that it seems that people of color are the only ones who are not allowed to exercise their constitutional rights of unlawful search and seizure? That is what this is. Um, and it just appalls me. And I know people are going to come under the comment saying, hey, he should have just complied. He should have did this or he should have did that. No, those officers were in the wrong. There's no one who can look at that video and say that those officers were in the right. And the most disheartening thing is the mayor's response. Now, I've met the mayor before, Mr. Don Hardy, a young, black gentleman. We were at a event last year at a movie release. Shout out to Tiffany Herring with the involuntary commitment. But I met him, and he told me he was the mayor, and I was like, man, that is great. Congratulations. But it is useless to have a black man in that position when something like this happens. He gives these generalized city attorney written statements without addressing the issue. And actually, on a Facebook post, which I think is still up, he said, I have seen the video footage that is in question. No, there's no question about that video footage. There's definitely not a question about what we see there. He already starts soft shoe tap dancing with that statement that was posted as it relates to an arrest that took place. No, an assault that took place at the Jack Roundtree apartment complex. I have spoken with the chief of police and the city manager. This incident is under review to include all body-worn cameras and cameras in the area. Once all the footage is gathered and the investigation is final, and as we are briefed by the police chief, once again, he has to be briefed. There's no briefing necessary. Everybody can see what happened. He says, myself and the city council will be reviewing the totality of circumstances. Once again, another word salad. As to the nature of the call, proper charges, and the amount of force used to effect the arrest in this particular incident. If you have any further questions or concerns as it relates to this incident prior to please contact with the chief of police with questions or statements in which you like to give. And he puts in all capital letters, this investigation is currently under review. And then Kinston police also acknowledged the video, saying on their Facebook page that it is aware of it and the use of force. They say the events are being investigated. What is to be investigated? We all saw a man on the ground being punched, threatened, tased, and even bitten by people who are sworn to protect and serve, and they had no reason to treat that man that way, but they will go back and subsequently place charges on the man. I think this is very despicable. And the fact that, once again, Mayor Hardy is a black man, that holds no weight with me. It doesn't matter if you're going to be a black man, but if you're in that position, you have to immediately condemn those actions. No, there's no tiptoeing. There's no reviewing the totality. There's no in question. Why are you there? And he immediately defers to the police chief, which shows a lack of, and excuse my, a lack of cojones, as Spanish people, or Italians, I don't know which word that is. It shows a lack of that. There's no reason for that, and people can ignore the race factor all they want, but this is definitely an incident that involves systemic racism by police departments. And you wonder why people have vitriol towards the police. It is only actions like this that make, once again, the good police officers uh, have to incur the wrath of the bad police officers. And answer me one question, if for those of you who don't think race has anything to do with it, why you never see a bunch of black police officers beating on white people? Is it because that black police officers are so morally and ethically and spiritually inclined to avoid that type of behavior? Maybe so. But the reason that you don't see that, in the words of the late great Dick Gregory, is because they know that white people are not going to tolerate that. And until we as a group of people make it known that we're not going to tolerate that, these actions are going to continue just like they've continued from the beginning of time, as I outlaw. Many people don't know the origin of police. The police was formed. The first police was the slave patrols. And what did the slave patrols do? They went out and hunted black people. They went out and questioned black people. Hey, let me see your ID. Let me see your freedom papers. To find runaway slaves. And that is what actually they're doing here. They're going into black neighborhoods. Let me see your ID. Are you supposed to be here? They're targeting. This is outright targeting of those people. And then when you assert your right to say, nah, what? Why do you need to see my ID for? I haven't done anything wrong. Then you have incidents like this. And so I commend my brother for asserting his rights. I commend him for not acting in a manner that they wanted them to act. Because I told him, I said, yeah, they wanted you to react. They wanted you to go off. And I'm glad that he didn't. He kept his composure and lived to tell the story. But if you go back and look at this video, and I'm going to play it at the end, but look at the anger, look at the malice in those young men's faces, those police officers. Look at their faces, look at their attitudes. That is complete hatred. Anytime you bite someone, that is just disdain. You don't bite anybody that you are not trying to hurt and that you have discontent for. And so I'm going to stand behind my brother. Hopefully we'll be able to get him to sit down within the next couple of days and really dive deep, because he's a very intelligent brother. As you see him speaking to the crowd in the event today, very, very just articulate and able to relay the experience with such sincerity and transparency. And so I really do believe that we need to gather behind him, because of course Kinston police have already opened their playbook and said, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. You know, this is what we're going to say. They've already brought erroneous charges on him from the night of the incident. Why does it take a whole week to, if he was trespassing or resisting arrest, why didn't you charge him that night? Because they've seen the momentum that the viral video has generated. And, you know, once again, until people in the public, because I think on another couple of videos, even white people are once again outraged. One white guy said, imagine if there's nothing to investigate. Imagine if that was your child out there. And that's true. And so these are incidents that always surface every time I try to have a good attitude towards police and good attitude towards law enforcement. Then something like this comes up, and then I have to start giving it the side eye, giving it the, oh, you on the wrong side look. Which once again, I know all police officers are not of this behavior. However, if one bad apple spoils a bunch, what about two of them? What about three of them? So we're going to be moving forward in some actions on behalf of Mr. Branch. So if you or anyone watching this video want to provide any recourse, any direction, any insight in which Mr. Branch should take, I will be in contact with him, hopefully early next week when we, start to put some things in place to make sure that his experience doesn't go unpunished, but also doesn't go unrectified. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up. But definitely reach out to me. You can call me direct 919-587-7782. If you have any message or once again, if you want to offer him any type of assistance, whether it's legal, financial, moral, spiritual assistance, we need everyone to stand in solidarity, as he mentioned to the group today. Divided we stand. United we stand, and divided we fall. So hopefully we will be able to keep this brother standing, because I know this is just the beginning. He's endured some trauma, some traumatic experience, some physical injuries as well. His mother, whom I met today, she had to witness that one day before Mother's Day. His significant others and families and friends and loved ones, all of those people have been impacted. I'm impacted. I'm traumatized just by looking at the video, in which we've also almost probably have become numb to those situations within the past years, because we continuously see this brute force, this total disregard for the life and sanctity of a person's right to exist in America and pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as our Constitution allows us to. So I'm not going to beleaguer you any longer. I'm going to play the video. Y'all watch the video, and once again, leave y'all thoughts and questions in the comments. And once again, feel free to call me 919-587-7782. Peace.